So Skivs, obviously, first Prem week, then all that training and those two games have come and gone. What kind of spot do you think the boys are in?
I think we're in a good spot. I think everyone in pre-season would hopefully be in a good spot at this point, you'd feel. But I think we're realistic about what's ahead. I think the guys have worked really hard at certain aspects in the game, and we know there's a certain risk element with the way we're going to play this season, and we also know there's a couple of fundamentals we've got to be better at than we were last season, regardless of the game plan. So boys have worked really hard. Everyone in the building's worked really hard. We obviously, we want to get our identity back. We've been very clear about that, and guys have done as much as they can. We know going back into the Premiership, the level goes up and the intensity goes up, but lots of lads they know the intensity of the Premiership, and we know it's a tough competition with fierce games every week, and we look forward to it.
Yeah, you mentioned there, obviously going into the first Prem week, first Prem game coming up. How does the focus sort of change when you have that Prem game on the horizon?
I think the reality is you select a 23, which obviously we haven't had to do for a number of months. Even the last two pre-season games, we took 30 and 31. So everyone's had an opportunity to play, which is great. But obviously, once you get into the proper games, then you're limited to your numbers. So unfortunately, some lads have to miss out, and that's a tough pill to swallow when you've worked as hard as you have in pre-season. But we also know this is a squad game, and it's become more and more like that with salary caps and squad numbers, etc. You have to use everybody, and we actually played more than anybody else in the league last year, which is great exposure for our group. But it is tough. You get into this point, first game of the season, some lads miss out, and they've got to do what's right for the team and shake it off and channel their disappointment. So that's really what changes this week, and obviously the games have things riding on them going forward. Every game you play, there's something riding on it, and as I've been very clear within the group, and the most important thing is that we establish our identity. We have to stand for something, but obviously we want to get as many points as we can and be more competitive than we were last year.
And for those lads selected, it's a really exciting time, isn't it? Everyone wants to be playing competitive rugby. Everyone wants to be playing these big games.
They do, yeah. And look, we've got good relationships with Hartbury, so we get some lads over there who will still get game time, which gives them an opportunity to put their hand up if they haven't made the frontline team. But from that point of view, of course, everybody wants to play, and these are important times where we see how people respond when it hasn't quite gone their way, and sometimes that's the balance of a team selection. Sometimes people have played really well and the balance isn't quite right, so they might miss out. But staying on task, staying focused, making good decisions around your behaviours and how hard you go, ultimately those guys will always push through in the end. So the players know that part of the job is dealing with disappointment and also dealing with the elation of being selected. Then you've got a job to do. Getting selected is one thing, doing the job is another thing, and we've got to respect that.
And finally, being back out at Kingsholm as well, obviously no pre-season games, so it feels like an age since the boys last took to the field here at Kingsholm, so it's going to be a great occasion, isn't it?
Yeah, it really does. It seems like a long time now. I think that Newcastle game at the end of the season seems like a long time ago. So obviously we're lucky we get to train here every day, so the boys are familiar with it. But yeah, I mean, getting the crowd in, getting the atmosphere going, that's ultimately what makes this club so special is the game day atmosphere, and it's very unique, and we're very lucky to have it every week. So boys are buzzing to get Kingsholm going again.
And it's obviously really important to you this season to sort of get that crowd on side and obviously hear the passion of those fans again.
Yeah, I think the fans are amazing. I think through thick and thin they turn up, they scream, they shout, they're passionate. I've spoken to loads of them in the summer, through the break, and I don't know if there's a club that gets more passionate support than Gloucester. I highly doubt it anywhere. So we look forward to seeing them back in, and like we say, hopefully we give them something to be entertained by, but also something to be proud of.
Perfect.
Thanks.